known for thousands of years, but it was buried because of the fact that it gave you your independence. And it gave you the ability to actually take care of things and not need to have a lot of skill to do it, a lot of money to do it. And that eliminates the possibility for society to make a whole lot of money off of you if you're injured or ill or not known, right? So ignorance is not gold in those areas. And so this guy, and I'll say he just wanted to discover these things. He was there to filter out anything that requires skill or money or products as much as humanly possible, so that you can have a total healthy body. Because really, you have the right to a healthy body. But we expect to go to the doctor or the dentist and have all these problems. That's in our society. And the older you get, and the more you think, well, I'm this age now, and this should go wrong, right? So, because you're told that. So there's two things. There's placebo and nocebo. People don't ever want to talk to you about nocebo. Everybody hears about placebo, which is the ability to believe something that you can do well, and then you get well. Nocebo is when I tell you a statistic, it isn't true, or it could be true. But if it's not, when you believe it, it'll be applied to your psyche. For example, society says now that 50% of the males in our population are going to have cancer in their lifetime. Ain't that sweet? And 30% of the women are going to get cancer. And you go, wow, really? All the pollutants and all the carcinogens, and wow, right? So then we immediately categorize ourselves in that number automatically. It's not true. It's not true at all. But they want you to believe that that's true. So that's called nocebo. You know that in 2006 they released a documentary called Placebo Surgery on University of Texas. Did 300 men. Did you remember that thing?
On the knees?
Yep.
Yeah, I do.
They did arthroscopic surgery on the knees. 100 men received the entire thing, which is incision, rinse, scrape, rinse, and sewed up. It takes about half an hour. And there's sounds and motions and things, right? They recorded all that. Did the whole surgery on the first 100. Second 100 got only the incision and the rinse, no scrape. Third got only the incision, no rinse, no scrape, no nothing, right? But they had all the sounds, so none of those 300 men knew whether or not they were the ones who had the surgery. They all believed they had the surgery. After 2 years, they hunted them all down to see how they did. Because none of them could work, they were all bone on bone, right? Bone on bone, couldn't walk, limping around, and all of a sudden they were fine. All 300 did well. In fact, the ones that did the best were the ones that had nothing done. And so they released this on 60 Minutes. This is not happening. They put that out there, and they came up to it. They came right out to them and said, "You don't ever publish that again. How did that ever get out there? What do you guys think you're doing?" And they're like, "What's the problem?" So the problem was not that you would believe that you could have better knees all of a sudden, because what if your knee was totally done and you didn't have the surgery?
Can't make money.
Yeah, but no, it's not even that. They don't want them to know about nocebo. Because if your mind has that much power to do that, well, guess what? If I fill you full of crap, you have the power to believe that. That'll affect you. And so this society is full of shit. I mean, the news, it's a big movie. Oh, so that's heavy stuff. So that comes upon us. So there's something up here that says no to getting fixed in the real world, especially when it involves something unorthodox to our thinking, or something that would be socially unacceptable. That's the problem. So that has to be shattered. I ran into the wall entirely with my health when I was 46 years old, and I was going to die. That's what was happening. And I was not only bankrupt physically, I was bankrupt financially. And so when that happened, I thought, man, what did this happen? Why is this going on? This is weird. Wait, I've got this liver problem that they want to call cancer. I've got cancer. I definitely had heart disease. I had a testicular cyst, that big rubber between my legs, pressing against my prostate, which was attached to my intestine. I had all this weird shit going on. It was super bad news. And told I had to do surgery and drugs and needed to do all this stuff. I'm like, hold it. I went to a doctor. I kept catching and guessing all the time. All this stuff would come up. I had these sores in the front of my shins that would blow up as if I hit a table with my shin or something, but I never did. And this woman who was around my age, in her 40s, took 6 weeks to see her. She was a specialist, and I went to see her. He goes, "So what's wrong?" And I showed her belly. She goes, "Well, you know what that is." And I said, "No." She goes, "Yeah, you know what that is." I said, "No, I don't actually." He goes, "Sure, you're a homosexual." I said, "What?" I said, no, I'm not actually. And she goes, "Oh, look, I'm a doctor. It's confidential. If you can't tell me what's going on, then I don't help you. You're homosexual, obviously. You got this stuff in here, and you see this stuff. Right? It was homosexual." I go, "Great. Okay, so let's just get something clear that I'm not homosexual. Don't even screw around with my wife. I'm married for 26 years. This is not sexual. I don't know what this is, and this is weird. And you got to realize it's not what that is. So there's something else." And she just had this little smirk in her face, and she couldn't take that out of her mind. She had made up her mind about what that was. Apparently homosexual, I don't know why they get that or whatever it is, but or similar things that look like it. You know what it turned out to be? Lead poisoning. Significant amounts of lead poisoning. Why did I have lead poisoning? Because I've worked 17 years in the oil field. And I didn't know this, but lead is on every single joint and every single pipe. You know, you see the rings going up and down, right? Yeah. I was full of lead. But they don't know. And so I wasn't angry. I just sort of went, wow, this person is guessing. Thank God I can see this. I'm out of here. I'm done. I don't want to have anything more with the doctors at this point. I don't think they know what they're doing. They're telling me they want to cut this thing open between my legs. And it's down where all my plumbing is. Wow. Right? And so I told my brother who was a medical doctor, I said, "Hey, you know, this is what they say, all this." He goes, "Yeah, absolutely, you follow through. You have surgery. You don't mess with that stuff. That thing will turn into cancer. People don't deal with that shit. That's the precursor. That's the precursor to colon cancer." Yeah. Oh, great. So in 1978, September of 78, 20 years old, I had two uncles on my mom's side. I looked like one of them at that time. And overweight. I'm going to show you a picture. And they both got cancer. One got cancer in 1977, diagnosed with liver cancer. He died on September the 14th, whatever it was, I think it was on the 14th, 1978, at 54 years old. His brother, Uncle Don, got thyroid cancer, diagnosed about 3 months before that. He was big and strong, they got down to his skeleton. He died 2 days later at the funeral of my Uncle Bob. And I remember that, and I thought, holy cow, you know those guys, they followed exact instructions according to the doctors, and they were told they were going to die. They said, "You're going to do this, this, and this." And yeah, you know, but you're going to do these things, right? Which was like, you know, surgery, chemo, radiation, whatever. And they were right on time with their funeral. And I thought, isn't that interesting? They got a mentor, an advisor, and someone to treat them who guaranteed them the funeral, and they followed through. But at the time, that's all there was. 1978, not a lot of alternatives out. But here I was in a world where I knew there was a lot of natural stuff out there. I just didn't know much about it myself. But I knew there were people on this earth who actually had knowledge at the top level for everything. Not only were they in the health world, but a musician, or an artist, or an actor, or an athlete, or somebody. There was that top level person, but I don't know who they are, and I don't know where they are, and I don't know how to find them, but I know they exist. And that was a big deal. And once I realized that they truly existed, and that they could cut through all that noise and confusion and the things that are going to hold me back from surviving, if I could just find them soon enough, and I could listen, I would do whatever it took to get this thing fixed. Because this is my human interface. This is the connection to the land of the living. This connected me to everything. Right? Am I going to lose this thing? That's not cool. So it was, and I personally believe that it was my doing, 100%. And I told my brother that. I said, you know, Doug, you're a doctor. You know, you see all these people, but he told me about genetic predisposition. Genetic predisposition. I said, no, so please explain. He goes, it's like this. Thousands of patients come through my clinic over the years. All walks of life, different type. Good looking, tall, slim, fat, homely, everything. He says, they're all over the map under genetics. Every single one of them had a genetic predisposition. They could eat organic and die at 35. They could party their face up and drink alcohol, live till 94. He said, I saw it all. He said, it has nothing to do with what you're doing. It has totally to do with genetic predisposition. I said, is that right? So I could eat cardboard, it wouldn't matter, but that's about it. It doesn't matter. You just go to the doctor, you sneak and do what you're told to do, you follow through, and if you don't, you're killing yourself. And I was like, I had 1,000 days left to live, according to those situations. 1,000 days. Now think about that. If you live till you're 80, I think it's 30 or 29,000 days at 80 years old. It's not very many days. So I had 1,000 days at that point at 46, now I'm 60. And I have approximately 20,000 days. So something happened between 46 and 60. And I'm not saying I'm going to live 20,000 more days because I get run over by a truck today. But not likely, right? The likelihood of an accident is only 5%. So based on knowledge and taking action and execution of things, there's about 20,000 days left, which is cool. Maybe there would be more than that. If you have 1,000 days left to live, it doesn't mean you're going to die in 1,000 days. It means that you're going to live for 1,000 days to be able to extend that time during that 1,000 days by learning and doing things to take that to 5,000. Maybe you have 5,000 days, you can use that to 10,000 and so on, right? Go from 10,000 to 20,000. And that's the idea. But I had to take full responsibility. I told my brother on the phone that night, I said, Doug, I think you're 100% incorrect on this. I think it's everything I'm doing. It's everything I'm doing. I'm sure of it. I don't know all what it is, but I think it's everything I think and I say and my attitude and when I'm eating and I found out, of course, what it was. I was eating totally wrong. I was not getting proper sleep. I was not hydrating. I was stressed all the time, thinking I'm invincible. My comment, my everything. It's heavy metal poison, full of mold, full of all this crap. That's what was wrong. That's how it turned out. And how do you deal with it? So my body was super damaged from the inside by all the toxicity. I had to find where they were coming from, absolutely stop them. And then I had to make sure that how do I get that stuff out of my system? It's in there. It doesn't just leave, right? And I had to find out where my lack of wisdom was, where my lack of understanding. And then when I found out, I had to realize also I will suffer. And whatever I have to suffer for to get through this, it's okay. I'll spend as much money, I'll have as much fun as is required. Right? I'll have as much joy as is required. I'll do whatever it takes. So there's 3 rules of life. One is, shit happens. Sorry, that's the first rule. It does, right? And if we don't believe that, then it's going to happen. We're going to be very disappointed. So once we know that that's the truth, we're okay with that. Because a lot of great things happen too. But we're aware of this thing. So we're talking about growth and becoming wiser and becoming a better version of ourselves. A better interface, the greatest version of who you are. Right? And that's being expressed right now physically. Right? That's our interface, our physical interface. But you're a spirit being. Right? If I could see the invisible you, it's just like you're 21. For sure. Right? And that's how you're always going to be. And you're right, you have your body matching as close as you can. Because the body is going to age, but it wants to age super slow. Not to prove a point, no, but just to be there for people, to be of service and happy. That's what it's all about. So, going from that point, I realized I would then do whatever it took. Well, I thought that meant that I would be stronger for them, that it would be better for me. But if I would have known how much I was going to suffer in the next 5 years, I tell you, I would have opted out. I would have opted out and just done a funeral. If I would have known, I didn't know. That's a good thing. I didn't know what was coming. When I said I'll suffer as much as possible, then that was fine, right? Because once you're in, there's a bunch of words that go together with the letter C. The first one is commitment. Right? Commitment's a big deal. Everybody wants to be confident that we're commit to something, right? But that's not going to happen. When you first commit to something, the very next thing that's required of you is to have courage. Right? Courage. It's always going to be required of you to be courageous. So you go with confidence to courage. That's the hard time. It's good. It's the starting of your character. Building a character. So So confidence to courage to capability. You gotta have capability. But you gotta have capacity. You gotta be able to do a volume of that. You become capable and you have capacity. Then you have to have continuity. You be able to continue this thing. Because you don't have continuity, it's not sustainable. It doesn't work. Then after you get continuity, you get confidence. And when you get confidence feeds that commitment. And then the commitment, you get more courageous, you get deeper committed, more courageous, more capability, more capacity, more confidence, more commitment. So that cycle goes. So when you're in, right? There's no backing out. It's like a firewall. You're going through a firewall. You don't stop halfway. You stop halfway, you get burned to death. You go all the way through. When you get on the other side, it's like, oh man, I don't want to see anyone go through that. But we all have our little firewalls. And I should have woken up way before it was thinking. Who was I? Who was that guy? I didn't even recognize him. When my son was on my case, I didn't even know how sick I was yet. I just knew I was out of shape and I wasn't feeling well. And he was bugging me because he was always in top shape. And he came and he said, Dad, you got to fix this problem. I want to take your picture. And so, this is the picture he took. And when this picture got taken, I was so shocked because I never saw myself like this. I only saw just this guy that was always me, gradually changing. But when I saw this picture, I hid it so that nobody would ever see this picture. I was so embarrassed and so ashamed of what I looked like. Let me see if I can find it. I'm here.
He looked like a fat blob.
So I went to dig up an old hard drive off the VC that this was on, because when I got better, I wanted to find that picture. And it was even more shocking at the time when I saw it. But that was me at 46. Then my son took the picture.
God, really different.
Yeah, that's right. Oh no, everything.
Let's put the picture on this camera. So
Yeah,
you can see.
yeah.
You even have more hair now.
Yeah, well, the hair is easy.
Look at that gut. Wow.
Yeah. So that really upset me. When I saw that on the screen, I went, but that's not me. That's definitely not me. I guess I know me is in there, the real me is in there somewhere, but I don't know who that is. But that was my song. And so that was one of the stimuluses, sort of. When I tried to stop doing what I was doing, it was like eating fast food and just not taking care of myself. My body kicked my ass so hard. Even if that far gone, you're parasites and you're freaking out and you want to scream for stuff. And that's how it was. So I went through this time where I just said, oh yeah, so my body, it's not me, man. This is my body I live in, though I'm very much attached to it, but it's running my life. And it's going to take this being out of here, because this thing's going to die. This thing's going to get fired, right? So I'm going to fire it. I am going to, you're fired, you spoiled little brat. I don't give you what you want, you kick up a fuss, okay? All right, it's a scrap, and I'll wait. And I told myself, you sit down and shut up and listen. And you stop, and if you want to kick up a fuss and give me a gut ache and a headache because I didn't give you that crap you want, like garbage food from Wendy's or whatever it was, right? A lot of stuff that I was addicted to. It was in a food world. I wasn't a drinker or a smoker like that. I stopped out when I was on 21. I just went, yeah, let's go through it. So I went through 3 weeks of absolute torture in that regard. When I did all the cleanses and did all these things, it was intense. There were cleanses where I thought for sure I was actually going to die. But so much stuff came on, I felt like $1 million afterwards. I did accidental wheatgrass cleanses that I didn't even do, but I did because I doubled the amount the day that I drank too much one day. And there was, I thought I had not drank my 8 ounces, and I drank 8, and then I drank another 8. And that put me into a 48-hour tailspin of just purging. So people ask me how much weight I lost. I said, well, I lost around 90 pounds, but I actually lost around 2,400 pounds. They go, what do you mean 2,400 pounds? Because every time I went to a cleanse, I was hydrating all the crap that built up in my life. That it dehydrated and lost its water weight. But it kept coming up and coming up. So that's the kind of level that it went through. But the whole time knowing this one thing, I had a suspicion, is that as you go down the road and as you learn the top level stuff, and when it comes to health and how to maintain your body and keep your yourself and you're really running well, like the top level, right? That it will get less expensive, less amount of time, less amount of energy, and less amount of money. And maybe it's free one day. Too good to be true, but maybe it's free. So I actually, that was early on, about 12 years before I ran into this. That was a suspicion that I had. But I just thought it was too good to be true. But I was always open to that idea that it could be free. So on November the 1st, 2017, I was sent a link. I actually received a link about 2 days before and a text message. And then I ended up in a mastermind in Florida. And my voice went away. I had this thing in my larynx because when I was heavy, I had this hiatal hernia. This is interesting. Hiatal hernia is where your stomach breaks your diaphragm when you're fat. And when it breaks, it's also a genetic thing. It breaks it, and the tummy comes up, and it kinks the esophagus, and it messes with your trachea. It feels like somebody's pushing 2 fingers in. That was in 1990 that happened. And so from then on, I had this thing. And I finally learned what it was, and they diagnosed it, but they can't fix it. They can't do it. So
Chiropractors can fix it.
yeah, they can pull it down. You can hang it down, but they sew that thing up.
Yeah.
Right, that's the problem. So you can lose weight. I'm not bothered by it now, not much. But what it did do is it messed with the little flap of my trachea. So there's a little flap that closes so that when you drink water or eat food, it doesn't go in your lungs. Yeah, so it's easy to get that pat. Like when I get tired, that actually gets lazy and I can get water down in my lungs or saliva, and that causes a bit of an irritation. In fact, that happened just about a month ago. Happens about once a year. So I get this stuff in my lungs. But anyway, I don't even know why I told you that. But there's, so where were we going with that?
You're talking, well, let's get to this, because we gotta wrap it up. So
Yeah, okay.
get into the meat of the
Yeah,
conversation
Yeah,
here.
all the stuff. So at the end of the day, it was because things were free. So it turned out in November 1st, I'd lost my voice. That's what it was because of this deal. And I was in the hotel room, and I couldn't even go to the mastermind. You have to talk to everyone the whole time. And literally, that's what my voice was doing. So I couldn't say anything. So I was up there, and I was going back through, you go back to the stuff you missed, some of my text messages and emails, and I saw this one. I went, oh yeah, there's the link. I clicked on it, and it said, self-healing, simple and free. And I clicked on it, and there was this Chinese guy, Hung Chi Chow, explaining in Scotland at a workshop how he discovered classical Chinese medicine. And it got that and predated everything. And he had made millions of dollars selling books that he had created, and he had all the time in the world. And this guy said, hey, you were a Chinese monk back in the day, right? Back in other lifetimes. Just get a backpack, don't drive, just walk around China and go and you'll find your truth about the real Chinese medicine. So when he came back, he discovered these 2 things called Paida, Lezhen. Paida is the means of stimulating the body to the skin and connecting to the brain and to the rest of the meridians. Lezhen is where you just put one leg up or one leg down with your arms above your head, leg in your back on a table or chairs against a wall, and it completely opens up all of your major energy patterns, and your body gets supercharged when you do this every day. So and it was so powerful. He got immediate results. They put a TV show on for 3 years in China, and he was super popular because he would get the most decrepit old people on there that couldn't get out of a chair, climb stairs, or walk well, and he would lay them down. He would lay them down in the legend for 10 minutes on each side while he's on the TV show explaining the stuff. And then he would treat them with the Paida, and then he would be jumping around in the new legs. And he did that over and over again. But then he finally realized, like, that's enough of that. After 3 years, he just went and traveled the world. He went all to the third world countries and to the first world countries, second world. And he showed all the people who were interested, who could believe and do this stuff and didn't need money, that they could totally heal their bodies. And he did workshops and he just showed them for free. And it changed the whole scene for them. And that's how that all got developed. So he was explaining that. And then he just showed the 2 things on this video. And I went, wow, cool, I just have my hands. He said, you just need your hands. You need a chair or a bench against the corner of a wall. And I did. I just immediately did. I was holed up in my room for 2 days waiting for my voice to come back. So I did 2 days of this intense thing. But his thing on that video, he said, I don't believe this, but I should have known that. But he said, he showed me like this. He goes, look, take your hand, use a whipping action, keep your wrist loose. You go like that. And do it as hard and as fast as you can for as long as possible. The minimum is 10 minutes. I went, okay. Don't tell me that, because I'm the guy, remember, I'll do whatever it takes. So I did 10 minutes, like, so I'm a guy. And I have an ability with whipping, it's a whipping action, it's not just hitting, right? It's a whipping thing. Instead of starting like this, what you're supposed to do, which you could have said, you get the area numb, and then you start doing this, and then you start doing that, right? I did 10 minutes of full tilt, and I thought, after being, and I'm supposed to be now this elk guy, who owns this really cool manufacturing company. I've done every cleanse in the world, followed every protocol. Of course, I shouldn't get any marks, right? So I would think, because if you have no problems, there's no marks and there's no pain. But I'm open to whatever, because there's nowhere to hide anyway. So who am I to say what I'm going to be? Let's find out. So there's different colors. There's red, yellow, blue, green, purple, and black. And white too. White is powder, white's the worst. So I start going like that, and then within 30 seconds, because I've got my thing on, because I'm going to go 10 minutes, right? So I got my thing counting on my iPhone. 30 seconds, and I stopped, because there were 5 big black dots that showed up like this in like a smile almost, like a semicircle. And I was like, that's messed up. I screwed that, right? So I just kept going. Right? So I'm going like this, like, I'm going harder than this, but I'm not going to do that right now, because I don't have to body. But anyway, so I'm going like that, and then it just blows out hard. And the whole thing, for after 10 minutes, it was all black, like that. And I was like, man, that is so messed up. Wow, I was pissed off. Like, so that's okay. And when I got this with them, and this is my liver, this is heart and lungs, this is liver, gallbladder, spleen, and digestive tract. And behind here is pancreas and kidneys, and then the liver again is here, because liver's so important. And this one was worse than this one. It was bigger. I did this, they were so painful. I thought I'd lost my mind. I'm doing this, I'm like, I'm total nut, man. People are gonna think I'm crazy. But this is the truth. I just knew in my gut this was true. That he was telling the truth. That he was not as pretentious bone that guy's body. And so I did it, and then in the next 48 hours, my whole operating system changed. I dumped a bunch of stuff in the toilet, just naturally, just came out of me. I felt way better, and I already was feeling good before this. And I felt a lot better. I didn't know that you could get that much better. And my arms were black from here to here, even though I'd only done that here. It just went full black. Like yours are good.
Mine are half black.
Yeah.
Went from here to
And I
here.
did not need to go nearly as hard to self-heal. But that one treatment cleared the whole thing, because when I went back to try to get marks after that, nothing came. Usually it takes 2 or 3 times.
Oh, should I redo my arm?
Well, not right now. You wait till it completely stops.
Okay.
So, but anyway, black from here to here, I was like, I was shocked at that. And then I went, wow, that works. This works. So let's see now. I have bad knees, so I started working on my knees. So I worked on my knees. And then I was traveling for 2 weeks from that point. And during that time, I sent my wife a video. That whole thing that I'd seen, I said, baby, watch this video. You're not going to like what you see. And she's never been really unhealthy. She's always just had stuff. We have 7 children, and she's a little 5'2", 103-pound woman that I married. Who I married, and she had 7 children. I never dreamed that would ever happen, because we were going to have a boy and a girl, but we kept going till we got two girls and 5 boys, but we were just going to go stop at a girl. So we ended up trying to even it out. So she had torn rotator cuff in her left shoulder 2.5 years before that. And it was bad, real bad injuries. And she runs our farm. She's very physical. I sent her in for many different treatments, because we're looking for alternative people. They would help her a little bit, but then she would re-injure, got worse and worse. So by the time I got home in the middle of November, she was and she'd been at this place for a long time, but it was so bad. She had to have pillows when she slept. She couldn't move. You couldn't touch her shoulder. And I said, did you watch the video? She goes, oh, I don't know. I watched a few minutes. I said, no, you got to watch the whole thing. Well, I'll watch it. So I said, I'm home for 4 days. Please watch the video, because I need to give you a treatment. So on Sunday, because I was leaving on Monday morning, I finally convinced her to sit down and put the shirt like what you have on now. And because you have to have a bare shoulder. And I took my 2 hands. And I said, baby, I'm just going to start. I'm going to do your thing, just like I said in that video. And so she was sitting there, and even touching her shoulder hurt. And I'm going like this. Within 30 seconds, it lit up. It lit up so hard, so hot. And she's freaked out. She's like, stop. Right, and so I said, okay, if you gotta, I gotta do this for 10 minutes, because it takes 10 minutes with my hands to get through to your brain that this needs to happen, right? So please, I'm gonna do it as gently as I can. I was very gentle. And I said, just let me go, because the only reason it's heating up like this is because you're injured. If there's no injury, it doesn't heat up. And I knew that by then, because I'd been into it for 2 weeks. I saw different parts of my body that didn't heat up and did, right? And all the shit that came out of my body. So she finally relented, and she just stopped putting her hand up, and then I was able to go. And so you get it numb. After about 5 minutes, it was quite numb, so that I could really go at it. And in the end of that treatment, 10 minutes later, I'm sure it looked like. That was what came out of your shoulder. That's 10 minutes. No, that's nothing.
Let me see.
So she's overweight. She doesn't.
Doesn't look that bad.
Oh, I know.
It's every circle.
Well, so that was the.
Like you said, you
That
have
was-
5.
So I did this back. This was really interesting. I did the back of her thing. So I did this side here at the same time I was doing that. The back one brought a bunch of color up to start with, but because it went 10 minutes, by the time the 10 minutes was done, all that color went away during that time, and it left this white ring. See that white ring?
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. I said, "Hey, we got a ring there." And she cried the whole time. And then when it was done, and she was very angry with us, because she knew for sure this can't be right. How can you hit a joint that's super damaged? And I said, the only alternative is surgery. So I had to just let her psychic war against what I do come at me. I flew up to California the next morning. I called her when I landed at 10:30 in the morning. And I said, "Baby, how's it going?" And she goes, "It's absolutely horrible. I knew this was wrong. Not only can I not use my shoulder, I can't even go to bed." I said, "We'll just get the boys to take care of everything." She goes, "Yeah." She said, "It's like puffed up like a basketball." She was livid for 2 days. I didn't even call her on the Wednesday because it was too intense. I phoned her on Thursday. She wouldn't even talk about her shoulder. Wouldn't allow the subject to be brought up. I didn't call her Friday. I called her on Saturday. So now we're 6 days after I gave her the treatment. And I said, "Hey, how's it going?" She goes, "I'm fine." I said, "It's good, fine. So how's your shoulder?" She goes, "It's fine." I'm happy. I said, "Fine, does that mean it's good? If you use your shoulder, then." She goes, "It's fine." So I said, "Okay, good." I got home on Monday. It was perfectly healed. She could do anything with her shoulder she wanted from that day till this day. And I told her, I said, "You probably need 2 or 3 more treatments, maybe. We'll see." But she was not touching it. And it took her 2 months to finally process that was the real thing. That was her way of getting it. I could get it quick because I'd been so sick and would do whatever it takes, and she did not. So 2 months later, she came and she goes, "You know what, that worked so amazing." She said, "My shoulder today is better than it's ever been in my life." I gave her a second treatment, nothing came out, just pink skin.